Hello and welcome to another bagpipe tuition video from bagpipetutoring.com. In this video I'm going to cover the chanter maintenance aspects for the PDQB Level 2 chanter examination. I'm going to give you all the knowledge you need to look after your practice chanter properly and give you all the key points that you need to hit to achieve full marks in your examination. So let's begin by looking at how to properly dismantle and reassemble your practice chanter. Okay, so we'll just run through the correct procedure for dismantling your chanter. So we take the bottom section by the bowl area here in one hand and the top section around the ferrule area here with the other hand and gradually twist off the top. What you must never do is grab a chanter by the bottom and twist from there. If it's a plastic chanter, it'll probably survive. If it's a wooden chanter, it's going to break. Okay, and many wooden practice chanters and pipe chanters have been broken by pipers who've wrongly got into the habit of going from the bottom. So, from the bowl and the ferrule end, and we'll gradually and carefully twist off, making sure to lift the top off straight, not at an angle, so that we avoid scraping the reed blades against the top of the chanter, otherwise you'll damage your reed. And then replace it in exactly the same way, carefully, straight, slowly, and then twist it back on again, holding it in exactly the correct way. Okay, so we'll just briefly summarize that so that you've got all the key points for your revision notes if you'd like to jot them down, and then we'll move on to cleaning and drying of the practice chanter. Dismantling the practice chanter. Grip the chanter at the bowl and the ferrule. Do not grip and turn from the sole end. Turn carefully and lift straight off, not at an angle. And take care not to catch the reed blades on the chanter top. Doing all this will avoid damage to the chanter and the reed. Okay, so now we're going to come to the cleaning and drying of a practice chanter. So first of all, we need to take it apart in the correct way, and then to simply dry it, just remove the reed and leave the reed, the bottom and top sections out, and just let them dry naturally. To clean a practice chanter, there's two reasons really why you would want to do that. First is hygiene, and the second is to keep the chanter sounding good. Over time, the inside of the chanter may have little bits of dirt and grit kind of stuck down the bore, so regular cleaning will keep it in tip-top order. So what you can do with the top section is hot soapy water and give the inside of the top section a good brush out. If you have a brush that's narrow enough to be able to fit into the top hole of the chanter and down the bore, then by all means do that. I use pipe cleaners so I can get that down inside the top section and just give it a bit of a clean out. Yeah, and then you can do the same with the bottom section of the chanter, cleaning out the bore and then just cleaning any dirt out of the holes on the practice chanter. Okay, so we'll give you a brief summary of that so that you can make your notes for your revision later, and we'll move on to the next section. Cleaning and drying the practice chanter. Correctly take apart the chanter and shake off the excess moisture. Remove the reed and leave out to dry naturally. Brush out the mouthpiece with warm soapy water and rinse. Clean out the narrower bores of the chanter using a narrow brush or a pipe cleaner. And all this is good hygiene, but will also help towards making sure that your chanter is sounding good. Okay, so the final section in our chanter maintenance for the Level 2 exam is how to correctly hemp your practice chanter. So for this job we're going to use waxed hemp. I prefer the yellow waxed hemp, but you can use the black stuff. The reason why we use waxed hemp is because the wax gives the hemp a protective coating to protect it from your saliva and the moisture. Hemp will swell when it gets wet, with the result that the joint can become far too tight between your top and bottom, and also the enzymes that are in your saliva that are there to break down your food to help you digest it, they will also break down the hemp, and the hemp will start to rot. So the wax just gives it that wee bit more longevity. So I'm going to start by, first of all, pressing my thumb against the chanter, grabbing the hemp, and then under tension I'm going to wind my hemp round and around, up and down, with the aim of creating a nice even joint, which is going to be eventually watertight and airtight, so that your chanter is working efficiently. You're not going to be losing air through the joint, and water isn't going to be sort of coming out through that joint either. So it keeps everything nice and efficient. So I'll just fast forward here, I think. Okay, so I've got a fair bit of hemp on now, and I'm just going to start checking the fit. Okay, so this at the moment is still a little bit loose, so we'll go with another few turns of hemp. Remember, just winding under tension so that it's nice and tight. And I'll check again. Okay, that seems pretty perfect, I would say. So you don't want it too tight and not too loose. So watertight, airtight, without becoming so tight that it's really difficult to get off and on. Okay, I'll just going to put a little bit more on there, just because the hemp tends to compress as we're testing it there. So it just loosens off ever so slightly again. So I'll give it another check. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little loop down over the top and then just break the hemp off. And there we go. Insert the reed again. Put the top back on. Good as new. So we'll just go over those points again so you get the key things that you need to make sure that you hit for the exam. Key points for re-hemping the practice chanter. Use waxed hemp as it is more resistant to moisture than unwaxed hemp. Carefully wind the hemp under tension to produce an even joint which is airtight and watertight. As you're hemping, periodically check the fit to ensure it is neither too tight nor too loose. And then check regularly to ensure the hemp is always producing an airtight and watertight seal. So there we go. We've now given you all the knowledge you need to be able to look after your practice chanter properly, and also to be able to achieve full marks in your level 2 piping exam. So very best of luck.